My side of the bag. I'm Drew Hinsley. He's Scotty Worldwide. We're going to do a women's U.S. Open preview. Erin Hills in southern Wisconsin. Of course, I know very well. Scotty, have you ever been there?
Never been. Yeah. No, it's part of the reason why we decided to not play this week in Mexico is to get there a little bit earlier and do some prep work. I think it's going to be worth it. But yeah, I've never seen the property. I'm flying in Saturday. I have hired a local caddy to walk the golf course with me for the first time Saturday afternoon. So we're going to do that. And then I'll probably walk it again first thing Sunday morning, and then we're going to play 9 holes Sunday afternoon.
Okay. Big golf course, big wide fairways. Angles are important there. You're not going to play the crazy 78 that they
Right.
stretch the men out to. But has the USGA sent you a setup, yardage, any of those type emails yet?
I have not got any of those yet.
Okay, I haven't seen anything. I think they may still be deciding. You got holes like number 9, par 3, could play as short as 115. I imagine they could back you guys up to like a back right flag as long as about 175, 180. I don't think they'd ask you to hit much more than that. As much as I would love to see you guys hit 215 in there, I don't think they're going to do that. But I would think you could probably see 6,800. Does that sound about right?
That doesn't sound crazy.
Yeah, 68, 69. Again, they do have a ton of options. There's 7 tees on every
That's
hole.
what I've heard. I've heard they have a lot of tees.
They do. So I think what you'll see, there's a couple of holes. 2 is a short par 4 where you can kind of hit it. There's a huge mound from the tee. It drops high right, low left. And if you send this thing up the right, there's a massive slope that will actually kick you down to the green. There's a bunker just right of the green, which if your tee shot goes in there, you're fine with it, no matter where the hole is. And it's kind of a turtleback green, so it'll run down the fairway. You can really get one close, and I think they could set that up to be almost drivable. And for the players that are willing to get their lines figured out early in the week, they'll know they can take it up the right side there on 2 and have a 35-yard pitch shot to a back right flag. I mean, it can play that short. Same with 15. 15 is a short 4. From the very back tee, it's like super elevated. The tees do drop a little, but it's still a really cool view. There's a bunch of bunkering there, and that's one of those ones you're really going to want to know exactly what 1 or 2 tees they're going to try to send you guys off of, because then you're going to start doing your math in your book. And hopefully the book is set. Hey, this is the tournament tee. Everything's measured from here, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of elevation change there too. So going from 265 down 13 and doing all that in the heat of battle, you know how frustrating that can get sometimes. So hopefully 15 is going to be a spot you're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out all the different carries. There's a lot of fairway bunkers. They can make it a drivable 4, and it's kind of the opposite of 2. If you wanted to drive that, you'd hit left corner of the green and let it bounce hard to the right, apron in the front that's going to try to catch your ball and deflect it. But if you can get enough speed going up that front apron, you can get one on the green there. A couple of funky par 5s, a couple of really long par 5s in 18. 14 is a cool par 5. There's kind of a bunker in the middle of the fairway. And I actually think it would be very cool of the USGA if they could set it up where most of the women could choose which side to go on. It's a little more narrow on the left side, but that gives you a much better angle into the
Interesting.
green, because the fairway swings hard up to the left, kind of on a ridge. And even layups are going to be a little tricky because you don't really have the visual. The fairway's kind of set. It's one of those, it looks like a ribbon where I'm trying to lay it up to. And it's a big wide fairway, but it's at an angle. It's like a 45-degree angle where you're trying to go in relation to the green. So there's going to be some good thinking going on. I'm excited to hear your feedback from the course, because there's a lot of angles involved. Even the par 5 first hole, it's one of those, how much are you willing to chew off? Because it's a hazard that you got to drive over. And so it's like, man, my boss has enough to send it left, but if we don't catch this, we're
Yeah.
re-teeing right here. And that's a tough way to start your day. So there's tons of room up the right. It's a 50, 60-yard wide fairway, and you just send one up the right, make it a 3-shot hole. Somebody's going to take a challenge at some point trying to get started with an eagle. And I know they're going to put you guys on the tees where, women can hit driver 3-wood if
Yeah.
they're aggressive enough. But that's the trick. You really got to push the envelope there to get a driver 3-wood on. And hopefully the USGA is smart about this and they give you some opportunities because I know your boss is pretty long. So it'll be fun. And again, the right side of one's just a huge fairway cut, and you can kind of draw that 3-wood down there. Maybe you get a kick with the slope. So again, there's a very real chance on one of the days they could set it up for eagle start at Erin Hills. The par 5 first, a drivable second hole, and then you get into a long run of par fours that are really hard. And
Okay.
the 12th hole is going to be a cool hole because I would imagine, and they did this for the men in the 2017 U.S. Open, but I imagine they're going to set you on a tee where basically you're completely blind to your fairway. You're going to have to play over this giant mound, and then the mound, it's 25 yards down below the top of the mound is the fairway. And then there's giant mounds with grasses, heavy, Wisconsin farm grass on each side of these slopes. And the ball will repel into the fairway, but it's got to be getting close to the fairway when it bounces. If you
Interesting.
miss it by a wide margin, you're going to have either a super below your feet lie or a super above your feet lie in grass that's about this high. And if you recall, this may jog your memory a little. Kevin Na on that hole went into the rough, saying, if I miss it in here, and started whacking his wedge in all the grass. And the USGA went out the next day and cut the rough down because Kevin Na and others complained about the severity of the rough. And it was number 12 where that happened. So again, a lot of crazy things out there at Erin Hills. Some wild par threes, a couple of turtleback greens. Number 6 is a par 3 with a turtleback green. So if you miss it short, left, or right, it repels off. There's a runoff in the back. So you got to be
Yeah.
really precise there. It's going to be a fun U.S. Open.
I've heard a lot of runoffs on the greens that you got to be aware of.
Yeah. And just a lot of number 3 is one of those where it's a really small target front left. It gets wider as you go back, but there's a ridge in the green. So if it's a front left flag and you hit a draw long and right, you've got to almost put it off the green and back down the hill. That's how severe the ridge is coming up over the front left shoulder on 3 green. 4 is another hole where if they put a front right or a back left flag, if you're on the wrong tier, it's so easy to make a bogey because the spine is so severe, especially over on the right side. So if it's a front right flag and you go long there, you really won't be able to stop the ball on that section of the green. You'll have to putt it off the green onto the fringe and try to make a 25-footer from the fringe. I mean, it's that severe sloping. It's going to be a lot of fun watching you guys tackle that golf course because they can reduce the yardage, but they can't change the contouring of the greens. So the greens are going to be brutal at times. I mean, everybody's going to look silly at some point, like it usually happens in a U.S. Open.
Sure.
But there's going to be some 6s and 7s, and the coaches and the moms and dads are going to be sitting at the clubhouse totally unaware of what you guys are facing and be like, how'd you make double? And you're like, go play it. You'll see. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, it's an amazing test. And I hate that they cut the rough down in 17 because it allowed the guys to be a bit more aggressive. They're already huge, spacious fairways. And it's it's a fun thought for you going into it to think in the final group in 2017. Do you know who was in the final group? Or do you know who the 2 guys were contending coming down the stretch?
No, not off the top of my head.
Brooks Koepka, who won.
Oh, yeah, Brooks that won, obviously.
And Brian Harman.
Okay. Was Kisner up there?
Don't know if Kiz was up there, but I know Harman was up there. So again, Harman, known as a very short hitter, lefty, controls his game. 2 completely contrasting styles, and they were the guys trying to track down a trophy. So it tells you that there's an opportunity to play smart shots, and as long as you're efficient and you're not dumb, you're going to have a chance. Even though the greens are crazy, but the fairways are massive and wide, and 11 is a par 4, but it's kind of got a U-shaped fairway. You hit it left side, it bounces middle. You hit right side, it bounces middle. And then that's got kind of a bowl of a green. So that'll be a good one to kind of throw some darts in on. I mean, there's going to be chances to score, but then there's going to be holes where, I mean, like 12, your boss is going to hit a tee shot and you won't know till you get within 20 yards of the ball where it ended up. There's no way to know. Completely blind fairway and with a lot of humps and bumps down there. So you
Right.
could hit it over the right edge of the hump and it
Like
bounces into the left rough.
Like Tobacco Road-ish.
Yeah, a lot like that. It's again, I mean, it's just farmland out there. So there's a couple of spots where it's kind of hard to pick a target. And hopefully the USGA does you some favors with a couple of flags and some grandstand corners and stuff like that where you can aim. But
Yeah.
it's a big property. I would take a couple of insoles in my shoes. I know when I've gone to courses like that in the past and worked US Opens, and they show you this beautiful hospitality trailer for the caddies to get massages and hyperbaric chambers. And you're like, wow, that's so kind. And then you go walk the golf course and you're like, yeah, it's a lawsuit if they don't provide those things for me. So there might be some caddy hospitality that you guys are wowing about on Saturday and Sunday. And then by Monday, you're going to figure out why they're trying to take care of you guys so you don't sue the USGA for making you walk that golf course. It's a big ballpark and it's up and down hills all day long and it doesn't stop. And you need to be hydrated. You need to be fit. Why don't you come here to Atlanta for a couple of days? I'll put you through the paces in the gym. We'll go do some squats tomorrow morning and we'll get you ready to go up some of those Erin Hills.
But I love the offer, but I'm just gonna sit out here in this 75 and sunny SoCal flat, no wind.
It's starting to get a little humid here in Georgia, so yeah, I'd stay in
Yeah.
SoCal.
I'm gonna have some tequila over the next couple days, and get
Good.
my body peaking for Erin Hills.
All right, so I'm not going to let you pick your boss because that's a little biased. I know you want her to win. You're going to do everything you can to help her win. So let's do some picks real quick. Let's just pick our top 3 players to watch at Erin Hills.
Okay.
I'll start with Ingrid Lindblad because I think she's going to do great.
Pick her, but I can't pick her.
I will pick her, and I'll tell you why I'm picking her. It's a little bit of recency bias. 3 years ago at Pine Needles, a big golf course with a lot of domed greens like you're going to see at Erin Hills, she was your first round leader. As an amateur, I believe that was the end of her sophomore year at LSU, and she was your first round leader at the US Open. So I'll take your boss. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take someone that's trending, that plays tough golf courses really well. Not the longest, but steady. I'm going to take Andrea Lee.
Yeah. Ball striker. I just don't know if she has the length around that place. And again, I just talked about Brian Harman, and she puts the eyes out of it. But
so does she.
I know. I hate the fact that you're going to lay up every par 5 with Andrea. I would like the opportunity to at least talk about going for some of those in 2. I feel like the person that wins is going to get on a couple of par 5s in 2. And I'm not sure Andrea can do that. So I'm a little concerned there. All right. You get your second pick before I take mine.
Okay. Someone that usually plays better when it gets harder. Someone that's trending and putting really well this year. I'll take Minjee Lee.
Yeah, really good. She won at Pine Needles 3 years ago. Kind of, there's some similar things in that course too. Okay. I picked this earlier this year. I'll stick with her. Charlie Hall. She just bombs it. It takes a lot of aggression on this golf course.
Play with her in Utah.
How's she playing?
Good. Okay. Yeah.
Right, good.
Oh.
She is
very aggressive.
I think
very aggressive.
Again, I was about to say she's about as close of a female version of Brooks Koepka as I could create on the LPGA, and that's who won there with the men. So I'll take Charlie Hall. I picked her to win. I'm sticking with my guns.
Okay. My final pick. I think I did this in the season preview, and I'll stick with it. I know it's not necessarily playing the best golf, but I'm going to take Lilia Vu.
Lilia Vu plays big ballparks well. I'm going to go world number 1 Nelly Korda. I think this is always a good pick. I know I'm going pretty chalk, but I think length matters more with the women than it did with the men. Because when we talk about length for the men, we're probably talking 12 to 20 yards difference. With the women, there could be some bigger gaps than that
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
comes to driving distance. And
Yeah.
I think at that golf course, with the way some of those greens are segmented and there's just little windows to hit into, hitting a 50-degree wedge is a heck of a lot easier than hitting an 8 and a 7-iron. And I think you're going to see that play out on the weekend. I think you'll see the big hitters start to climb the board. You'll see the Lily Avus, you'll see the Ingrids, you'll see the Charlies, the Nellies. You'll see big hitters start to really move up the board. And maybe somebody's really dialed with their wedges and they can hang without the length, like Andrea Lee. But I just think the women's length is really going to be important at Erin Hills.
Okay. We took 6 different people. That's fun.
Well, I mean, I was trying to pick people that weren't the same as you. So I have a couple more in my head, like, maybe Lydia Ko, whose caddy is one of our close friends. So, but again, Lydia, I don't think has the length to be a major player there. I just don't.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Knowing the course, and again, if you get any kind of rain, there's so much slope in those fairways. If it's dry, then there's players like Lydia and Andrea could kind of find some of those sideboards, and they're big. It's not like you're trying to find this 5-yard speed slot. There's some 20-yard wide sideboards. Thinking of number 10, you can play it kind of up the left center, and you're going to get 50 on the ground if it's firm. But if it's soft, take that 50 away, and now what you got? You got a hybrid into the green, and it's a thin green with a bunker in front, and you don't want to. You'd have to choose which side of the bunker you want to approach on. But with the 50, you could maybe hit a 9-iron in there. So again, if you get any rain, and it is Wisconsin in June, I expect some, that course is going to play to the long hitters even more.
Okay.
All right. That's our U.S. Open preview. Give us a follow, give us a listen, like and subscribe, and we will keep giving you the world of golf from my side of the bag.